Just count me down, brother.
I just look like my mother. It's bothering me.
Welcome, everybody. I am your host, Brandon Coleman, and you are watching and or listening to the Daily Take with Take the Trace Studios. I'm especially excited today because we have somebody who is from Detroit, left Detroit, and has now returned. The beautiful, hilarious, and just good all around person, Heather J.
Hi, everybody. Hello.
What's up?
Hello.
I can't remember the last time I saw you, Heather J. It's been a
It's been a
long time.
long time. I was thinking about that earlier today too. I was like, wow, it's been a while. It was somewhere downtown. It was somewhere in the same neighborhood we in now, though. I know that.
Well, definitely, but it's been at least like 5, 6.
At least 5 years.
Yeah. So a good place to start, I think, and I think we're calling the title of the show "Around the World and Back" with Heather J.
All right.
Where you been?
I moved to Inglewood, California. And
Inglewood?
yes, I moved to Inglewood. Inglewood is the most like Detroit.
Really?
In terms of the way the people move and
You
like
gotta
when
say more. Like
yeah,
what you mean?
when you relocate, especially when you're going from a Midwest to a West Coast, it's like boarding a spaceship and going to another planet.
It's night and day, especially
Yeah.
California.
California is just so different from Michigan. Just the
Yeah.
people, the politics, everything. So I was looking for a community of Black people,
Mm-hmm.
people that look like me,
Mm-hmm.
working class people, and that was Inglewood for me.
Huh, I ain't never been to Inglewood.
Oh, Inglewood's amazing.
Really?
Yeah.
What's your favorite thing to do in Inglewood?
It's the grocery store and Ross Dress for Less were in the same complex, and Starbucks was across the street.
So
and
wait,
I would get my
Ross
steps in.
and the grocery store?
Ross, they call their Kroger's Ralph's. So Ross, Ralph's, Starbucks on the same corner, and I would get my steps in, and I would walk and get coffee, and then like go grocery shopping, and then I'd go back home, and that was like how I decompressed.
Okay, so wait,
Yeah.
HJ, is Ross your spot?
I love Ross.
Really? What
I
you be
love
finding at
Ross.
Ross? I never find nothing at Ross.
You got to dig. Ross is a place, it's almost like a meditation shopping spot. You cannot rush. You cannot run in, grab something, run out. You got to go through them racks.
I think that's why I don't like it.
Ooh, yeah. It's
like
a shopping meditation experience.
Okay.
You put your music on. You know what I'm
Do
saying?
you really put your music on?
Yes. And you just go through and you look, okay, no. Oh, that's a buy. And then you always end up finding something for the house or for your closet or just like a filler.
Okay.
Like like if you just need, like, you can't
go with. We have to go to Ross together.
Yeah, because you can't go with something in mind. You can't be like, I need a red shirt, because you won't find one.
That's how I got messed up in the game.
No, you have to just be like,
I was looking for something.
The universe, I'm open, and then something will fall into your, yes.
The raw spirits.
The spirits of the TJ Maxx's, Ross's, Marshalls.
They would
yes. I love stuff like that. So, and I like to walk.
Okay.
And because of the weather,
How would you say get your steps in?
Oh, yeah. I walk every day.
Yeah, and the weather. That's a big difference between Michigan and
the weather is very nice, but it's not worth the discomfort. When you're uncomfortable and you want to be home, you don't care.
Really? So you've been yearning to come back?
Oh, yeah. I did the pandemic. I was isolated. It was just me by myself.
Or
whatever. Yeah, my mother wouldn't let me come home.
I think that was a lot of
Black families. My mother wouldn't let me come home
in
the beginning because she's like, you might bring it with you. And I was just like, I'm by myself. So I wrote a book.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I wrote a book during the pandemic.
Have you released it yet?
Oh, yeah. I have 2 books out.
Wait, Heather.
Yeah, I can't be idle.
So let's talk about your books.
Oh, okay. So I'm the Midwest Queen of Mystery.
The Midwest Queen of Mystery.
The Midwest Queen of Mystery. Mean? I can't say I'm the Queen of Mystery because that's probably somebody.
Okay, yeah, you're going to step on some toes.
right. With a book deal. Yeah. I am the Midwest. I don't want to say Detroit because I'm not going to limit myself, but I'm definitely the Detroit Queen of Mystery. So definitely.
Is what you're saying is that you wrote a mystery book?
I write mystery novels based in Detroit, yes. Yes.
Are they like hood mystery novels?
Yes. It's like Sherlock Holmes on the block, yeah.
So who's the main character?
It's a hood rat named Chelsea.
Chelsea?
And, yeah, she's a rat.
So both
and her baby daddy's in jail. And she work at like, shut the fuck up, y'all. But she's always the smartest person in the room because One has nothing to do with the other. And that's the point.
Is that you can't necessarily judge a book
Yeah,
by
yeah,
its
you
cover. You
can't
could be a
look-
rat. You could be a
Oh,
brilliant
yeah.
rat.
People always want to look at hood rats and think they know who they are. And it's like, you don't know her intelligence. You don't know her IQ. You
So-
don't know her potential.
Are both books about Chelsea?
Yes. There's
How
a
many
Chel-
more? Is this? So obviously, this is a series.
Yeah, I have 2 out now, and I'm working on a 3rd right now as we speak. Yeah.
So where can we find these books? 'Cause I think
Amazon has them, and then I sell them from my website, shortybooks.com. Shortybooks.com.
Shout out to shortybooks.com.
Yeah, because the first book is called Maybe Shorty Should Be a Detective.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe Shorty should be a detective.
Yeah.
Now, what's the second book?
Mama's Baby, Daddy's Murder. Yeah.
Can these books be had on audio?
Not yet, because audiobooks are really expensive. So when you're self-published, they're like, that's a lot. That's a huge expense.
Come on, let's talk. I'd be down to do. I'm trying to get into audiobooks and do a voiceover work.
Yeah, because you have to pay a voiceover actor, and you have to pay for studio time. It's just like if you're trying to record an EP, like it's an expense. You know?
We're gonna talk about this off camera.
All right, cool. Let's talk about it. I'm here for it.
Okay,
let's make an audiobook.
I'm learning all kinds of new stuff about you. I didn't know you had a book
Yeah.
or 2
Yeah.
now. What else? What other things don't we know
I
about?
do writing coaching for other authors. So if you have a story in you, and you want to tell it, I will help you. Like I'm working with a gentleman right now, helping him get a autobiography done.
So this is the kind of thing I think that is really interesting and fascinating about comedians.
Yeah.
You all have such inner richness.
You think so?
Yeah, I think that's a really common thread amongst comedians that I know, and I think even amongst funny people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because it's kind of like Chelsea. Is that her
Mhm.
name? You know, you think that, just because this person is a comedian, or in Chelsea's case, a rat,
Yeah.
that's all she is.
Yeah.
And I think people tend to think
They
that
do.
comedians
Are just clowns.
Yeah, all you do is make people laugh. But we don't know that you're writing books. We don't know that you're a writing coach, and
Yeah.
helping bring people's stories to life.
I do a lot of coaching. I do writing coaching for novels. I do comedy coaching for new comedians. And I do relationship coaching for people that want to know why they're by themselves.
Okay, so now
And I'll
that's
tell you.
real rich
I'll tell you.
and juicy, because we are friends on social media,
Mm-hmm.
and I notice that from time to time you chime in and give your take.
Mm-hmm.
Since we are on the Daily Take, you ain't afraid to give your take on relationships, and
No.
you ain't really afraid to give your take on anything.
I stay out of certain topics.
Like what?
I don't get involved in bipartisan politics.
Okay.
I keep those hot takes to myself.
Okay.
And I don't talk about religion too much. I don't mind polarizing for the sake of making us better as people. We can talk about relationship stuff because it's going to make somebody better. It can enrich. But things that just divisive and argumentative and hate-based, like politics and religion, I stay away from.
And you're kind of diplomatic. Sometimes comedians are like, they go hard or they stay in sort of a... When I see you having conversations, you're extremely diplomatic.
Oh, yeah. Comedy is a job. It's a part of who I am, for sure. I love what I do, but I'm a human, And when people meet me, I'm very aware of how you remember people for the way they make you feel. You know what I mean? And I'm always very aware of the experience. Mm-hmm. And especially since my comedy can be raw and rough. I don't want people, if you talk to me off stage, I want you to know that I'm more than just that.
What you just saw on stage, my on stage persona.
Yeah, so I try to lead with my heart more when I'm off stage. Because on stage, I'm in my brain. I'm like in my mind the whole time,
Where do you get your material from? I mean, like a lot of folks say, okay, I just live my life. But I mean, like, how does that translate into a comedic routine? How does that translate into a finished product?
Remember when we were in school, we were learning math and it was like the function box?
Yeah.
And you would put the number in and then you'll do the function and then the number will come out different.
Uh-huh.
That's how I do my material. So I put life through the function of my brain, of my comedy mind, and what's funny to me. And then the way it comes out is the way I begin to shape it into a joke. So it usually starts with me making myself laugh, a certain kind of laugh. A certain laugh in particular where I go, ha, 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 okay, wait a minute. I got to write that down.
Okay, like where you feel it.
Yeah.
Sometimes, like, I talk to musicians and artists and other creators, And they say that there are periods where, maybe they're in the zone or they feel like inspiration comes from a place completely outside of themselves.
Yes.
Have you had that experience as a comedian?
I'm usually writing really good material when I come off stage because it's almost like my creative juices are really going because the stage is an adrenaline rush for me. So everything
Even now,
is,
because you ain't new to this. How long you been in comedy?
15 years.
Okay, and you still feel the rush of adrenaline.
Still
when
get
you're on
nervous
stage.
before a show. Yeah, still got to have my shot before I go on stage.
What you take a shot of?
Neat tequila.
Neat tequila.
Silver.
What brand?
As long as it's not disgusting.
Okay, you drink 1800?
I love 1800 silver, but only silver. I don't like reposado, just silver. Because you never know where the show's going to be. So we've learned over the years to adapt to what the bar has. So this bar might have 87 brands. This bar might only, all we have is, and it's like, okay, well, I know I got to have my shot. So, it just like one time I did a show downtown around the corner from Cass Tech High School. It's a little Irish bar. And there was a comedy night there. And when I got there, I wanted a whiskey because it was really cold. And I was coming down with something and I wanted like a toddy.
Yeah.
And so I went and I was like, if I could just get a whiskey hot toddy. And he was like, this is an Irish bar. We don't do Jack Daniels here. And he was like, I got Irish liquor. And I was like, all right, well,
whatever.
Something comparable.
Hook it up.
And that was the first time I ever had Jameson. And if you've ever had Jack Daniels and Jameson, those are two very different experiences. Different. So I was sipping this Jameson toddy, which I do not recommend. If you're going to do Jameson, just commit to being drunk and fighting and calling it a day. And I was drinking the Jameson toddy, and I went on stage and I started my set. In the middle of my joke, I was just like, where am I? I was just
like for real?
I was like, whoa. I couldn't remember anything I was saying.
So how did that set end up?
Oh, I was just freestyling. They were laughing at me because I was like, yo, this Jameson, like for real. I just started talking to the bartender like, you should have told somebody. And, Irish are known for drinking a little heavier. So he was like, what did you think it was about to be? And I was like, just a little bit. But I love Jameson. But Jameson has a distinctive purpose. If it's cold and I don't have a lot of money to spend on alcohol, just give me a shot of Jameson and I'll nurse it all night and I'll be good. Yeah.
So, HJ, I want to go back to your relationship advice.
Okay. I give it.
And the reason I want to go back to your relationship advice, because I've seen you get some folks together online. I have seen you be a little controversial.
That's the only reason people follow me is to watch me insult people online.
You do be getting people together. So my first question, and a question I think a lot of people ask when someone mentions, hey, I give relationship advice. Are you in a relationship?
I got hoes.
You got hoes? Different area codes? So just, you keep them all in Inglewood?
I don't live in Inglewood anymore. I live in Hollywood now. I started in Inglewood. Yeah, I moved to Hollywood. When I want to be in a relationship, I am.
Okay.
And when I don't want to be in a relationship, I'm not.
So what as a person who gives relationship advice, and good, I ain't gonna front, I'm gonna let the people know you actually give pretty good relationship advice.
I mean, I think I say to men what they want to hear. As you get older, and we hate it, I remember when I was 25 and, my body was perfect and I didn't have a care in the world, but I didn't know shit, you know what I mean? And, now I'm 40 and it's like, okay, I'm not fly like I was back then. I'm mature, I think I'm mature fly or whatever.
You definitely.
But I mean, I'm moving into like my life. I'm not trying to compete with a 25-year-old, I'm not even trying, but, cause I know my lane. I'm in my grown auntie, I'm going into my auntie here.
You're embracing the auntie? Because some folks get mad.
It's not easy. It's not easy at all. But it's definitely difficult for women to go from being, hey there, baby, to hey, auntie. That hurts. It's like a punch in the face. But the beauty of it is that I do have these years of experience and I do have these life experiences that I feel I would be remiss if I did not share with somebody who is struggling. You know what I mean? And I do, like you said, I do have the words. I can't articulate it. So I'm going to try to help you. If you don't want to listen, I'm not saying I'm going to tell you how to get married. That's not what the kind of advice I give. But when I see people struggling, like, all women are this, it's like, let me tell you where you're going wrong. Or all men are this. Let me tell you where you're going wrong.
We do see a lot of that. So I think that's a relevant place. Like if you were to give your take your daily take on when a person, really kind of paints the opposite sex or another gender, or
It drives me crazy.
so. What do you say to them, other than you're wrong?
When women do it, I usually try to lead with positive. So I'll say, there are men that don't do that, sis. Because the truth of the matter is, it really is the laws of attraction.
That's real.
When you're 30,
Like attracts
yeah,
like.
exactly.
Yeah.
So when you're 33 years old, and every guy I ever dated did this, then you gotta switch. You're putting yourself in the wrong environment. You gotta switch something up to get some new experiences. Because obviously, it's 8 billion people on the planet. All men do not do
This one
this
thing.
one thing. You know what I mean? That's insane. Like, logically, we know it's not true, but when we're in our feelings, we feel it and we mean it, and it's real to us. And with men, I say the same thing. Because usually, I think when men allow themselves to be vulnerable and express those kind of feelings, they're usually, the pain is usually so heavy on the surface you can almost touch it, like you're wearing it like a shirt, like it's right here.
Yeah, that's facts.
And you're usually, because men don't allow themselves to feel like that, they're usually talking about one person in particular. And when you narrow it down, it's like, okay, so you took one girl and you pretty much just painted this whole, you know what I mean? It's like, no, bro, no. There's a whole lot of women that don't want you to feed them, and that aren't just going to date you for dinner. It's a whole world of women that really want to get to know you.
That ain't even trying to take advantage of you.
They can buy their own food. They don't care about going to Black Rock because they can take themselves there. And yeah, you're meeting girls that want that because it's something you're doing that you don't want to change because it makes you feel a certain kind of way.
So there's some space for some.
It's always about self-reflection,
personal responsibility.
It's always about those two things, because we determine, we can't pick our parents,
right?
We can't pick our siblings,
right.
We can't even pick our boss. Sometimes we can pick our friends.
Yeah,
that is the one thing.
And our partners and our mates.
We can pick the people we bring close to us.
Yeah.
So every time, if you ended up with even a serial killer, the women that dated Ted Bundy, they all were drawn to something that he understood how to sell them. It's a whole lot of women that would have been like, boy, bye. And they would have lived, they alive right now. Because they said, bye, Ted, gone somewhere with your fake ass or whatever.
With your weird ass.
You know what I'm saying? They saw something on him that was like, you know what I mean? And I'm sure for every girl that said yes, it was a girl that said no on the same night.
And probably more than one.
Exactly. So, and that's the part that you have to accept responsibility for. Like, that man that left you with those kids, you picked him.
Mm-hmm. So how does comedians, I think, are oftentimes known for maybe using comedy. They're individuals who perhaps came into comedy because they needed some sort of outlet to address perhaps a trauma or some other sort of sensitivity. I hear that a lot about comedians, that the stage becomes a therapeutic place. Do you, what's your response to that?
I've heard that a lot too. A lot of comics will say comedy is my therapy. I think we do a disservice to the audience when we use the stage for our own traumas and dramas. People are paying money to see us.
I never heard nobody say that.
I mean, I say this in comedic circles and conversations with my peers. And if it's a new comic, no, we're not. Therapy is therapy. Comedy is a job, and people are depending on you to bring some laughter into their life. And if you're in your painful place right now, and it's not funny, see, here's the thing: when it works, it's great, but when it doesn't work, it's sad.
Yeah, it's hard to watch.
It's like, okay, I'm really sorry your dad left, but we didn't pay for this.
Yeah, no, we did
And
not.
it's a journey into learning how to write. I watched Kevin Hart work out new material at the Laugh Factory a few months ago. So by the time everybody else sees it, he'll either be on tour or it'll be on Netflix. They'll see the finished result.
Right.
I saw it in the beginning.
When it was
nobody would have paid for that because it was new. And he always talks about his pain. He's the original laughing at my pain guy.
Yeah.
But he has to work his material.
Yeah,
that's his thing. So yeah, he's definitely talking about his family. He's talking about his personal issues. And he's known for that. And he does it very well. But there's a process from it's a thought in my head to it's ready for consumption, for product consumption.
Right.
And the real ones know that. The amateurs or the newer comics would think you just go on stage with fresh pain and people laugh. It's like, no.
There's a lot more into it.
Yeah, you still have to craft jokes. You still have to have so much laughter in your set. You still have to have a certain quality of laughter, or else people will be disappointed.
What is quality of laughter? I don't think I've ever heard that phrase before.
This is a very technical profession. That's quality.
Got it.
From
so
here.
Like a little.
But those little polite chuckles. That's a bomb.
What's been your worst bomb?
Here, for sure.
In Detroit?
Absolutely. Because Detroit will let you know if they don't like you quickly. I did a church show one time, and it was pastor's birthday, and I think I cursed.
Ooh, what happened?
Everybody got quiet and looked at me like trash. And the comics were laughing so hard. They were like, "You cussed," and I was like, "I didn't even realize I had cussed." I think that was...
Which cuss words you use? Because you know all cuss words ain't created equal.
That's how I felt. I was like, I was just ass or something like that. But pastor's birthday party, and I think I did a sex joke about him.
Same?
Yes, but it wasn't like a dirty. It wasn't like a prolific joke. It was just like a, when a man and a woman get together kind of thing. But still, it was too much.
What's the word they say? Did they?
They just got hella quiet.
But I'm talking about after the show.
Oh,
because church folks, they'll get you together too.
Oh, nobody said nothing to me. Which, in church, they will also, shun you. The shunning. But I was a newer comic, and I think I was maybe only 3 or 4 years in. So it was a lesson I had to learn.
Okay. So what's the difference between 3 to 4 years in Heather J, the comedian, to Heather J, the comedian today?
Novice, journeyman, expert. You know what I mean?
Novice, journeyman,
expert. Just like any other profession. Resident for doctors, they're residents. They have to do all the grunt work. They have to learn from everybody. They can't tell anybody no, because anything could be a learning opportunity. It's very political. They got to get in with the right people, right? Versus head surgeon can come in and do whatever he wants.
That's how you rolling now?
Doesn't need anybody to tell him how to do his job.
That's how you step
Might
on
be a little
scene.
drunk on the operating room.
But still gonna get it done.
Paying their malpractice insurance. Yeah. And then feeding other people, putting other people in a position to get some money. So, yeah.
Do comedians have to have any sort of insurance?
We should have health and life like everybody, but we don't need any professional insurance now. Okay. No, I just meant, malpractice insurance means if you screw up, it gets taken care of. So we're responsible.
I knew, but I was just wondering, I'm like, because what I'm thinking of is how Will Smith went on stage and
I know
really
insurance
slapped,
for that. No, I know.
Chris Rock or not,
that's called a personal lawsuit.
Right.
That's called personal injury.
Well, how you feel about that? What were the comedians in your circle saying about
everybody
that?
talked about. It was so hard in LA because it was hard to get what I felt were honest and organic responses because it's a political business. Chris Rock is a heavy hitter. LA is his town. You have to be careful what you say because if it gets back,
you might be finished.
You might be done. That really does happen in our business.
Well, I'd imagine that maybe comedy might be one of the most petty professions.
It's very petty, and people don't see us as artists. Like they see you as an artist.
Right.
So if somebody were to come to your studio one day and you were to say, I'm just not feeling it today, y'all. You could cry. Nobody's going to question it.
Right.
But if we're like, listen, I just can't today, they're going to be like, comedy is about jokes. It's like, no, I'm an artist too. You know,
and I'm fucking human.
Yeah, so it's like, I get to, so people don't very sensitive.
For sure.
Even though we're
you have to be sensitive to be a comedian,
because
right?
you're seeing, we're really interpreting the world through our filter. So we're very empathetic.
Sure.
We're usually very well aware of things that people who don't know we're aware of. See everything in the room, very observant.
What's something that's common amongst comedians that maybe the average person wouldn't know? Like if I'm not in a comedic inner circle, if I'm not working as a professional comic, what's something that I wouldn't that's real as fuck? So
speaking of Chris Rock and Will Smith, we fight a lot.
Y'all fight a lot.
We fight a lot of shows.
Fight for real, like
somebody
hand
always trying to come on stage and hit us. That happens all the time. That's why the response was so disappointing to me when everybody was like, "Oh, I stand with Chris," and I'm like, we've all had an experience where you heckled the wrong part, or the wrong person said the wrong thing to you. You said the wrong thing back, and now they want to fight you. That is so common.
So you've been confronted on stage before?
I have had a couple of situations. Yes, white and black. This is not
Really?
racial.
So how you handle them? Like, what happens? Do your
Okay,
comedian
so you're
homeboys
not gonna
come
let
through?
nobody fight you. You know what I mean?
Right.
Somebody beat you up on stage.
That's the worst.
But at the same time, you're not gonna back down. But if you can resolve it, you want to, because it's a bad look for you in the club. But there's so many videos of comedians having altercations, and like I said, it's not a black thing, it's not a hood thing, it's a comedy thing. There's a viral video from a few years ago. This man in Texas, he played guitar. He was getting heckled by this drunk guy. The audience was endorsing this behavior. They ended
endorsing the heckling?
Yeah, they
or
were
just the whole back
the
and forth
whole
between the
back
two?
and forth. They were laughing. They were encouraging. So as it escalated, they were laughing. The guy rushed on stage to fight the comic. The comic hit him with the guitar, broke the guitar
On his head. It's like
yeah,
a real.
it's on YouTube.
I'm gonna have to watch that. Okay.
It's on YouTube. It's hilarious to me. It's
Luckily,
hilarious.
when we
But
get
I'm
some
saying
more
it
staff, we're
happens.
gonna start running that. We're gonna start showing that to the audience.
So that's the experience for our situations to go left, because it's all funny until somebody gets upset.
Yeah.
And we already know, we're always ready for the contingency. When you're handling a heckler, any professional comedian who's been doing this for any number of years, you're still talking. I'm throwing body shots, and I know I'm throwing body shots. I'm ready. Yeah. I'm ready for the possibility that you might. Up. Or else I'm going to say, security, throw her out, because that's security's job. And that's why every comedy club usually has 2 or 3 big guys in the back, because they're constantly throwing out troublemakers.
Yeah, and then people are getting drunk.
Yes, and people are, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's something that people don't know. So when they saw the Chris Rock situation, I'm like, oh, I guarantee you that's not the first time somebody tried to hit him for something he said on stage. Probably the 3,000th time. Yeah. Because it happens to us all the time.
So, Heather, when you started comedy, we talked about the difference between you as an individual, from early in the game to now. What about the comedic game itself, from then to now?
The game?
The game. How has the game changed?
The game's changing every day.
Like, what's the
art evolves? The business of art evolves, you know? So, I mean, NFTs changed your business.
Yeah, for sure.
Internet comedians changed mine.
So, okay, let's talk about that. So, I think I heard an actress say something similar, that you have these TikTok and YouTube stars now.
Taking roles from everybody. Yep.
Now is really kind of diluting the role and professional, like the actual work you put in to become an actor, or in your case, the work you put in to become a comedian.
Can't control it. Their money. They're bringing, if somebody has 2 million followers and somebody wants to book them on a show with me, I'm not going to be mad.
Sure.
I mean, I might want to be, but I'm not going to let myself
go there.
This woman's working hard too, or this man's working hard too. Those viral comedians, they getting up every day shooting. I'm sleeping in, they getting up shooting. So I'm not going to pretend that they're not making a contribution.
Absolutely.
The show is going to be the show. If you do TikTok videos and you've never been on a live stage, I'm going to be funnier than you. You know what I mean? So my experience, I haven't had any bad experiences with that group. Mine have all been people that are like, yo, I don't know what I'm doing, help me. Or, I'm bringing people, but you bring in, I want to be able to do what you do.
Right.
Or people that respect what we do as well as. Right. And I've appreciated that. I haven't had any bad experiences. So.
Who's your favorite comedian? Like, who are you really messing with in the comedic space?
Nobody understands my answers. Nobody understands my answers when I say this. I compartmentalize questions like that. So
come on, let's compartmentalize.
Okay, so OG Lucille Ball, OG woman. She was the first to do it. B. Arthur, the ones that were doing it before I was born. That Carol Burnett, you know what I mean?
Are these people you studied, like really gave?
These are people who I don't say I study, but every time I see them, it's gonna be something I take away. Like. Sure. That's why she the GOAT. You know what I mean? Like, see what she just did right there? And I respect the journey because I know what I go through as a woman in 2022. I can only imagine what they were going through in the 50s. You know what I mean? 60s or whatever. 40s even. So I appreciate the women that helped, like Gracie Allen, George Burns' wife. She was in the 30s. I know she wasn't getting no respect. I know she wasn't getting no money. You know what I mean?
Right.
But she still showed up and did her job well enough that if you watch one of their sketches today, you're gonna still laugh. You know what I mean?
And well enough that we're talking about it now.
Well enough that she's still relevant in comedy conversations with people that understand the craft. I can't say any of the women influenced me. I was not influenced by the Queens of Comedy. That was never my. That was just never the way. I was never. Yeah, I was never coming from that. But at the same time, I still respect the fuck out of them and their journey, and I pay homage when I meet them and when I see them when I work with them.
Absolutely,
I absolutely give them their flowers because I know that they were opening doors that I walked through. They were kicking down doors I walked through. And I'm not going to say I believe I can find something to learn from every veteran that I work with. If you've been doing this 20, 30 years, you're going to teach me something. And that was me from day one. I was like, I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're a white guy from Iowa. I don't care if you're famous. If I work with you for a weekend, I'm going to learn something that I needed to know. But when you talk about who I watch, Jim Gaffigan and John Mulaney are my favorite comedians.
I think you were giving Jim Gaffigan a lot of love online the other day, or maybe a couple of weeks ago.
I always give Jim Gaffigan and John Mulaney love because they're brilliant to me, and I love their comedy. But people don't expect the black girl from Detroit to be like Jim Gaffigan, but he's a G at what he does.
What is it about his work and his approach to the craft that makes you respect him so much?
It's difficult to do 5 comedy albums and for them all to be funny. So like you guys will watch Mike Epps on Netflix, and you'll watch Kevin, and you'll watch Kat, and then you'll see it wasn't all that. It wasn't all that because it's hard. It's hard to come up with a new hour of material. And to me, Gaffigan is consistent. It's not the same kind of comedy. Mm-hmm. It's not my kind of comedy, but I respect him for what he does and with the consistency that he does it.
It's a hard thing.
It's very. I feel like it's a peer because I feel like we're close in age, and I feel like we started around the same time, and so I can gauge myself by his growth.
Right, because y'all are contemporaries.
I feel, even though I don't think we're the exact same age, but I do feel like in comedy age we're the same, and I just respect his journey, his growth. He falls, he gets back up, and he consistently delivers. And that's my goal. My goal is to be consistent. I don't have to be everybody's favorite comic. But the people that do like me, they need to say she's always consistent.
You obviously have talents beyond comedy. What has kept your focus professionally in the comedic realm? Because you obviously can make money doing other things. I've seen your writing.
I love what I do.
That's what it's the love that's.
And I'm fortunate enough to get to do something I love. I'm never tired. I work all the time. I'm a workaholic. That's why I'm single, because I'm a workaholic.
And speaking of work, you're here in Detroit right now because you're working on a new project. Tell us a little bit about it.
As the queen of Detroit mystery, I've written a mystery film.
Sweet. When we talked about this earlier, you was like, I'm shooting a film, but you ain't say it was yours.
Yeah.
So this is a film adaptation of your book?
No, it's another story about murder. I could write about murder all day. That's another reason why I don't have a boyfriend, because you can't go on dates and what'd you do today? I constructed a murder.
So I got to read your books now. I'm pretty excited.
My books are.
We're gonna get comedy. I don't know why I didn't immediately think about this. I'm gonna be laughing my ass off while I'm reading.
Detective is definitely a comedy mystery, but the film is a mystery, more traditional.
I want to be down. So now I want to act in your movies, and I want to help record your audiobook.
So what happened was the Detroit film industry is blossoming. Over the pandemic, people of color were looking for content with people of color. So they went online to Prime and Tubi and Philo, I think it's called, and they found all this black content. A lot of it was coming out of Detroit, so a lot of independent filmmakers.
We just talked about this.
Yeah, so our little market blew up. So now we're making movies, and they're lower budget, obviously, but
there's a market for that.
It's a market because people love them, and we're getting fan mail, and we're getting, people are getting recognized in the street from these movies, and I wrote like 4 of them, so I decided to write one for myself.
Heather.
Yeah.
So we were just speaking with Lazar Favors, who
Mhm.
does the Detroit Black Film Festival,
Right.
and we were talking about all of these creators. How do you feel move to where it's really been opened up? Because on one side, we can look at it as maybe an oversaturated market. On another
Mhm.
side, we can look at it as a really beautiful opportunity for more artist voices and more creative
Mhm.
voices to reach a broader audience. Where do you stand on that
I
spectrum?
feel like black film right now is probably where Hollywood was 70, 80 years ago. It's still new, so we're still learning a lot. The cream is going to rise to the top. Detroit is the hustle capital of the world, if you didn't know. The hustle. We will sell anything. If we see some money on the floor, we're going to figure out how to get it.
Yeah,
So now that they see the money in the film, of course, we're attracting hustlers. We're attracting people that are in it for the bag.
right.
But eventually, they'll either learn the business and be productive members, or they'll fall by the
That fizzle out,
wayside.
yeah.
And the artists will continue to do. We were creating anyway. Now we just have somewhere to put our work. We were writing scripts anyway. We were filming anyway.
So it was already happening.
So now we just have somewhere to put it, and now we have a way for people to recognize us for our work and be compensated for our work. So it's a good time. It's a good time.
It is a good time. I'm really
Yeah.
excited to see, and I'm even more excited to have creatives like you
Oh, thank you.
return to Detroit.
It was no
For
way in the
work.
world I was going. Yeah, my plan was always to learn in Hollywood and bring back what I learned home. Yeah.
So when you coming back for good, because you're just back to shoot for a limited period of time now,
yeah,
right?
yeah, I still got to pay rent in LA.
Yeah, and that ain't no joke.
Ain't whew,
What's the average rent in LA right now?
it depends on what neighborhood you live in, but you're not getting nothing decent for less than 1,500. I can tell you that.
Ooh.
That's a studio.
I mean, it's almost like that in Detroit. Not $1,500 studios,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I mean, we've seen the rent prices
Yeah, are going
going
up.
crazy.
Yeah, but Detroit always makes a way for each other. We always make a way for us. It's always gonna be a
That's
little
the
hood you can slide on and get a little crib. You know what I mean? It may
Yeah.
not be the neighborhood you love, but you can
But you gonna
slide
get
over there and
something.
get a little crib. You can't do that now. You got to live the way they tell you to live.
Huh?
You got to live the way they tell you to live.
Yeah,
So
you do.
you live over here now. We said so. Because this is your budget.
Do you like LA, Heather?
No.
I kind of don't like LA either.
No.
Like, it's not my.
It serves a purpose. It's some good people there. I've made some amazing networking connections. I've learned a lot.
Mhm.
I worked on set with, because my good friend Clayton Thomas, who's also from Detroit and has been living in LA for almost 20 years, he works with Bentley Kyle Evans, who is the writer, director, producer of Martin, the series Martin, and the Jamie Foxx show.
Oh, wow.
So everybody's favorite sitcom is Martin. And because of Clayton, I was able to work with him for a few weeks and learn a lot about the way sets work and writers' rooms and things like that. So I was excited to be able to bring back what I learned from that experience. Yeah. So, and that's how I'm looking at it. I've learned, I'm not going to, it's an industry town. They know movies and film and TV shows and entertainment the way we know cars. You know what I mean? Like you're not gonna tell Detroit how to make cars. That's what we do.
Right.
They make movies. They make entertainment. So if I want to learn everybody that wants to get in the auto industry has a presence in Detroit.
You're right.
Every single
You
automaker in the world.
Be serious about it.
You're not serious unless you at least are learning something from Detroit, and it's always been like that from the beginning. The foreign, the Japanese, the Farfignuggans, they all came over to Detroit and learned.
They did. They got the game.
And they learned. They got the game. Now they might have changed it up when they took it back to Germany and Japan, but they got the game here. And that's how I feel about LA. I'm gonna go get the game,
then bring it back,
and
home.
then bring it back.
Bring home the bacon.
Yeah.
You eat pork?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I eat bacon. I'm never not gonna eat bacon. If it go on a pizza, I eat it.
If it go on a pizza?
But I'm not the one that's just making a ham. Nah.
Okay. You ain't make no ham sandwich.
No, I don't eat it like that. But if it's on a pizza, because to me, pizza pork don't feel like pork. Those are pizza
actually
toppings.
Really true. It don't feel like pork.
Don't feel like pork.
Who got the
Pepperoni
best
is whole
pizza in
pork.
Detroit?
Jets.
That's you know what? I think I agree with you. We might get some hate mail off that way. We might
I know that's like the great debate, right?
Some viewer backlash.
I saw that when I wasn't here, and I saw people arguing online, and I was like, "Oh my god, I can't wait to get back home and be like, can I get in the debate now?"
So wait, did you admit that you team Jets?
Oh, I'm team Jets.
Did you admit it in the debate though?
Well, they tell me,
Because
okay,
you
so
know you're gonna get roasted. You're gonna have to use your.
people tell me now. Here's the thing. I respect buddies. I respect
I respect
buddies.
buddies too.
And,
Shout out to
and
buddies.
Shout out to buddies because buddies is clutch.
Yeah.
But buddies is just not as accessible. It's not as many buddies as it is
That's
Jets.
very, very true.
Jets is mad accessible, so I'm gonna go with Jets. I'm sticking with I'm locking my answer in. They tell me now I'm Hollywood, so a lot of times they won't let me say stuff. They'll be like, "You don't live here no more," and I'll be like, "Oh, no, I can't. Now I can't talk because I don't live there no more." So I said, "Wait till I get home. I'm gonna have so much to say."
So Heather, on the topic of comedy, when you think about like let's say if Heather were president of the United States.
Oh my God.
If you were
y'all
president,
would hate me if I was president.
What would be? Why would we hate you?
I would be just like Trump. I'd be off every day. They'd be like, "Where's Heather? The Spa, Mar-a-Lago with Beyonce and Jay-Z on a boat."
Well, Heather, you got to run the country.
I would be like, "Yeah, no, I don't want to do that."
So what's gonna happen to the country?
I wouldn't. You said if I was president, I don't want to be president. Like, I have no desire to be president at all.
So you're gonna let the country fall apart
if
you get
so
appointed.
Sick of y'all. Oh my God, I would be so sick of y'all.
Okay. You gonna step down? You gonna resign?
I would do them 4 years, and I would be like, listen, the presidency. If you notice, look at every president since color television. They all look way worse coming out than they did going in.
Yes, they do. That's very true.
That job takes years off people's lives. You got you're responsible for so much other stuff. I definitely would get us out of every other country's business. Okay, I'll be like, listen, we're not doing all that. We're going to deal with these Americans. I don't care what they do. I don't care.
Well, what about if you were president of the comedy industry? If you was the top person in comedy, what would you do? How would you wield that power?
The responsibility you trying to give me.
Yeah, I'm giving you all the responsibility. What would you do?
I wouldn't do nothing.
What's wrong with comedy? You wouldn't change nothing? You wouldn't change the game?
No, because everything we don't like, again, we're artists. We can't, when we try to control things, it impacts what we create.
That's real.
We have to go with the flow of things. We have to take the good with the bad, the ebbs, the flows, the ups, the downs. People are here today, gone tomorrow.
That's real.
You know what I mean? So the worst person in the world, and I think people at home that work difficult jobs will tell you, you'll hate your boss. You'll hate this lady, next to you in the cubicle, and then she'll be gone. And you've been stressing over this lady for a year, and then one day she just dies or retires or changes positions or gets fired or moves away because she's getting married or something. And you're like, wow, I let this lady take a year of my life, and just like that, she's gone or whatever. So it's difficult people are a part of our growth, our development. We have to accept these challenges. We don't have to like it, but we do have to deal with it and learn whatever we're going to learn, because all they do is make us better. So it's difficult to break into this business. It's a lot of frustration. Few spots, a lot of people trying to get it. It's a very competitive business. If everybody got a shot to be famous, being famous wouldn't mean nothing. And being famous wouldn't be no money either. It only pays good because it's rare. You know what I mean? So
no, that
if there were no joke thieves keep everybody writing.
They keep everybody writing. You ever stole somebody's joke before?
Hell no.
Okay.
Ego wouldn't let me do that.
Good.
Now I do have a friend named Melanie. Hey Melanie, that's my friend.
It sounds like you're about to be getting put on blast, Melanie.
No, this is what I do. So sometimes me and Melanie might share openers or like transitional. Okay. So I might be like, okay, remember, I said your line last night, but that's my friend, so she don't mind. But I'm not taking her jokes.
Right.
I might take some of her playfulness. Or she might be like, I say something you say on stage sometimes. Because I say love is free on stage a lot.
Okay.
And I got that from the poetry community because I did so many shows with poets over the years. Shout out to LaShawn Phoenix. She would always go, love is free, when she would do her open mic. And then when I host shows at the Laugh Factory, I say love is free. And the comics are like, wow, that's so nice. And I'm like, yeah, love is free because we want them to show us love. Yeah. And we're giving them love in return. And it just brings a really positive, kind, warm approach to.
Yeah, so you set the vibe.
I set the vibe. And so other comics are starting to say it now. And they'll go, oh, I said your thing. And I'm like, I don't have it trademarked or nothing. Yeah. Like,
it's free too.
Yeah, it's free too. Yeah. You know what I mean? People are going to know it was me. And I'm going to know it was LaShawn. You know what I mean? Yeah. So That's but that's the closest I think. But nobody would admit to selling jokes. That's career suicide. Like nobody would admit to
I mean,
that.
I feel like stealing a joke should be career suicide in the first place. It's
Yeah, so nobody's gonna admit it. That's
Yeah.
why. Because here's what they do. They'll say they didn't do it.
Mhm.
Oh no, that's parallel thinking. I thought of that joke too. I never even saw you do it. You know what I mean? So that's their little
boilerplate
way.
excuses they hit.
Yeah, Google Amy Schumer. She has a whole video denying that she stole all these jokes, and they got side by sides. It's so sad. It's like just don't talk.
Yeah, just don't even say nothing. So this is my last question, Heather.
Okay, I'm having fun.
Good. I'm having fun. So, you know, now, in addition to all of the attention that's been brought to comedy around the slap,
and Monique and DL,
DL, and
people DMing me, how do y'all decide lineups? And I'm like, you're not going to understand. Stop trying to understand our business. You're not going to understand.
So this brings into the question. There's a lot of controversy going on in the comedic space, whether it's the slap, like you said, whether it's DL and Monique, or what I was really trying to get to is sort of the silencing and censorship and attempt
canceling
to control what the fuck a comedian can say on stage. What's your response to this? Like your personal response?
It is never my intention to offend anybody. I think that's most of us. We don't write the joke saying, oh, I want to hurt a gay person's feelings today. You know what I mean? It just happens, and we're usually apathetic because our currency is laughter. So in our mind, if 80% of the room roared, remember that quality laugh,
right,
and 5 or 6 people were upset, ignore the 5 or 6.
Right.
But what's happening as the world is getting smaller because of our global streams and things like this, their silence is growing louder and louder, and it is becoming something we can no longer ignore the people we've offended. We have to acknowledge their offense.
But do you change your comedy?
I can't tell people what to do. I can tell you this much. If what you're saying offends enough people, you won't work. And it's not because we're catering to the sensitive people and you can't say nothing no more. It's because it's a money-driven business.
Right.
So if the room is empty when you show up, Chappelle can always fill a room. The people are mad, but he's still selling out shows.
Every time.
So as long as he's selling out shows, he's going to do what he wants to do. I'm not in a position to do that. I might fuck around and empty a club out.
Right.
And now they're not going to ask me back. So I got to ask myself, am I going to die on this hill, or am I just going to not do the joke? And that's where most of us are. We have to think about it from a dollars and cents perspective. Yeah. Do you want to work? Because if you are the white comic, hey boo, if you are the white comic that has to do N-word jokes, or you want to force it, and I'm booking a show, oh, well, I can't have him on the show because I know he wants to say the N-word. Right. I can't stop him. I'm not even going to try. Right. That's your career. Do what you want. I'm telling you, this little money I have for you, I ain't got it for you. Right. Now, you get turned away enough times, maybe get yourself together, or you're going to go find other racists and do shows in those conservative racist communities that will allow you. Godspeed. Do your thing. Yeah. But I'm not about to go back and forth with nobody who told me my joke hurt their feelings. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, but I'm not going to let it cost me no money either. Right. You know what I mean? So that's just
it's not worth it.
But because we're abrasive. Our hot takes are usually abrasive. So it's not even a gay thing. One time I did a joke about Karens, and this lady, I could hear the silence coming from this section. And this lady, and I was like, why y'all not laughing? Because I'm the kind of person, I want to know. Why? Because I know this fire. Why y'all not laughing? And I said, y'all like my joke? And the lady said, no. And I was like, why? I said, all you got to do is not be racist and difficult, and nobody won't call you a Karen. And she said, my name is Karen. Okay, I get it. I get why you're offended. I get it. I get it. Okay, I didn't know your name was. Offended yeah, okay, so every time we say Karen, you feel like, here's why I understand. For a long time, I went to school I went to diverse schools. So I was always in school with white kids, black kids, Asian kids, whatever. I learned that Heather in the white community has a very negative connotation.
I did not know that.
Yes, Heather.
What's a Heather?
Back in the day, if I met a white guy and said my name was Heather, he'd be like, "Oh, you're a slut. Oh, you're a bitch. Oh, you're like Heather was like the Karen of
The
teenage
90s.
girls, right? Of teenage girls. So I remember being like, okay, well that's on y'all side because it don't mean that on the black side
Right.
or whatever. But I remember, so it didn't hurt me.
Right.
But I remember the white girls named Heather would get upset.
Yeah, they felt it.
They felt it.
Yeah.
So I do understand you don't want your name. And then again, we know they don't like when we call them Becky's. And we know the age. You know what I mean? But we do it, but we know they don't like it. So it's like, again, I'm not saying I wouldn't have still did the joke, but I understand why you're offended.
Why you felt that way.
And I'm going to change directions now because
okay,
my goal is for
how
us
did
to
that
have a good
situation
time.
end?
Oh no, I got her back on my side.
Okay.
I said, I'm sorry, I know your name was Karen. And I said,
Nice.
you need to change her name. Because it ain't going nowhere. Like it's a slang now.
Right.
It's bigger than us.
It's too late, boo.
But I said, if you living your life right, everybody will know you as the Karen that's not like that. And she was like, you're right. Got her back on my side because she paid her money.
Like a professional comedian.
She paid her money. She deserved to have a good time too.
But that's like you said. That's the difference between being a novice, a journeyman,
and an expert.
I'm
not gonna let you not like me. I'm gonna get you back. I've seen gay people with the stiff face, and it's like, okay, she feels some kind of way. Let's just address it. Mm-hmm. Let's get in front of it. Get them back on our side because they deserve to laugh too.
Well, Heather J, I think that's a perfect place to put a pin because we really did go around the world and back.
We did. We talked about 85 different
everything. Talked about pizza.
I'm Team Jets. I'm sorry. It's one right up the street from the crib.
And now you gotta be, because y'all don't know this, but HJ has conned me into giving her some Starbucks after the show. So,
some girls want crab legs. I just want Starbucks.
Starbucks you will have. Heather, thank you so much for joining us.
This is so much fun. Thank you for having me.
You have been a wonderful guest and a very easy person to talk with. And dropped a couple of dimes on us about the comedic profession, about some relationships, and about what the deal is with hood rat detectives. So I can't wait to get up on your book.
The hood rat is the backbone of the black community.
The hood rat is the backbone.
She is literally the backbone of the black community.
Could she be called the black bone?
It's the black bone. If the drug dealer is the bank of the black community, then the hood rat is the backbone.
You know what? We're going to have to...
all things go through her. Every function of the hood go through her.
Sweet.
She keeping kids. She braiding hair. She selling food stamps. She feeding people. Her heart is big. She trying to help.
That's true.
She defend her friends.
That's real true. To the end.
To the end. She going to catch a case with her homegirl. Pull up. Do I need to pull up on somebody, sis? Y'all gonna stop disrespecting these hood rats.
We're gonna have to bring you back. We talked about having a comedian potentially host one of the shows on the Take Network. So,
cool.
Because clearly you've been soaking up the game from Cali and bringing it back to the city. So
y'all just bring it out.
Yeah, bring it out. Sprinkle us.
Right.
Sprinkle us.
And if anybody needs relationship advice,
so that's perfect because how can people find you, Heather?
All social media platforms, Heather Jayh. You can Google Heather J Comedian.
Heather J Comedian.
Heather J Quake's House. Heather J. That comes up sometimes too.
Quake's House. That's right. You Earthquake is your man.
I did a Quake's House for 3 years. Yeah.
Before we go, I'm always interested in this. I love hearing comedians tell stories about other comedians, particularly because you hear about comedians being assholes, but I think the thing we don't always hear about is how big of a heart a lot of comedians have and how much the comedic community does for one another.
Yeah. During the pandemic, we
drop us a dime. Oh, also shout out to Roy Woods and thank you. You gave me some good
Roy is the dopest man in the world.
Shout out to that brother.
He's a good guy. We all love him.
Yes. But yeah, drop us, because you as a comedian, you did me a solid on that front. Thank you for that. But tell us a little bit. He texts me back. Tell us a little bit about the love that's shared or love that you've been shown in the comedic community.
When people are veterans and they're rich and they're famous and they spend time with you, they talk to you, they give you pearls of wisdom. That's love, because that's helping you earn a living, earn money to feed your family, and prosper as well. And then, of course, we try to pay that forward to the ones that's coming up underneath us. I've been very fortunate to work with some amazing veteran comics, national comics. They let you up on their shows. They put a little money in your pocket. They pull your coattail if you're wrong and let you know, give you some game. You know, I don't say that no more. You know, I don't come around here like that. You know,
Yeah,
like,
they get you
and that's
together.
all love. Because one thing about comedians, if we don't care about you, we get quiet. Because our voice is our power. So we get quiet.
You snapped out. You out.
Yeah.
Um, I know I told you I had a last question, but you mentioned rich and famous. How much money y'all be making? Can you make good money as a comedian?
When you balling a lot, you writing for a TV show? Yeah, a lot of comedians are writers on some of your favorite TV shows.
Okay. I mean, what kind of money? Like if I'm a new comedian, but I got a nice pen, and let's say I'm getting my first gig as like a junior writer on the show. How much money am I making?
Yeah, they wouldn't call you a junior writer. They'll throw you in the room if they buy your episode. So episodic TV is a little different, but I'll put it to you like this: writers in LA all have Teslas. All of them have Teslas.
Oh, okay.
They making money.
Yeah,
And
that's what Tesla's 80, 90, 100.
yeah, I mean to come out the bag,
Yeah.
to come out the like just like that, yeah. And if you sell a scripts, I love having these conversations in Detroit because people try to lowball writers.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I got 200 for you, and it's like writers have Teslas, baby. Like,
Yeah.
This ain't no $200 gig. I sell a screenplay in LA to an industry production, 70,000. 70,000.
Just the screenplay.
That's a basic screenplay. That's no rewrites. That's just raw. They're gonna pay somebody else another 40 to rewrite it.
Word.
A treatment's like 15, 20,000.
Damn.
You write something like Jurassic Park blockbuster, 120,000. Yeah.
Just off the right.
Just first draft. Yes.
Shit, I need
So
to,
so if you want to write,
take my talents to LA.
if you aspire, that's why I moved out there because I was like, I need to get some of these pockets. I don't mind doing Detroit projects on the low, but I got to get my money out there.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you interested in writing and if somebody offers you $1,000 or something, tell them to kick rocks because that's not what this job pays.
Yeah,
the job don't pay that.
More game brought to us.
And no, I haven't sold $100,000 script yet. You'll know.
You on the way.
You'll know because I'll be talking and walking different.
So I might
get a little BBL.
Nothing, but you'll know you'll a BBL.
What are we gonna get that?
We're gonna have to bring you back to talk about the BBL. We're gonna have it.
No, I don't need no BBL. Okay. I got enough second B. I got enough second B. I might get a little Botox, a little lift, a little nip tuck.
Yeah, because that's LA style for real.
Little lip,
Duck lips.
Little Kylie Jenner.
God, don't do that, AJ. Well, Heather, thanks again so much for coming on, joining us. We definitely want to bring you back. Maybe you and Chelsea, maybe the actor.
Chelsea goes everywhere I go.
Chelsea, maybe y'all can come back and we do like a joint interview.
I'll do a cutout. Oh, so you want me to do the interview as Chelsea? Okay.
That would be even better. Wait, are you playing Chelsea in the movie?
No.
Okay.
No.
I'm going to bring
Chelsea's a young rat.
I
don't like the word hood rat, by the way. I just know that's what people understand when if I say urban girl, people don't miss.
No,
if I say hood rat,
know exactly what you're talking about.
No, she was inspired by a girl I used to teach.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Well, we definitely want to bring you and
Shorty Should Be a Detective, Amazon or shortybooks.com.
Heather, thank you so much.
Thank
you. All of you for tuning in to today's Daily Take on the Take Network. I'm your host, Brandon Colvin, and this is our lovely guest, Heather J.